Hey, Midwest Conference fans, I'm Paityn Tabor here on Midwest Conference Media Day. Today I'm joined with Grinnell College defensive back Hugh Werner. Hugh, thank you so much for taking the time to meet with me.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Absolutely. My first question for you, Hugh, is what are your personal expectations for the upcoming season?
Yep. So coming off of last season was about the same since Coach Barnes has been here, a 2-win season. So obviously, in terms of like wins and losses, getting to that 5-5 um, kind of marker, but obviously also like growing as a team, setting more of a foundation for a program that's come a long way so far.
Yeah. If you had to pick one trait that you believe makes for a great Division III football player, what would it be?
Definitely the ability to be adaptive. There's a lot that goes on, especially with schools, like schoolwork, academics, as well as, practice and working out and such. So just being able to really go with the flow, adapt to the, situation and such.
Yeah. Hugh, tell me a little bit more about your team. What is the dynamic like in the locker room?
Yep. So we're on the smaller end in terms of numbers, but I think that honestly makes us a lot closer as a team. Like anyone hangs out with everybody, and there's never that kind of split in the locker room. It's 60 guys all as a cohesive family. Um, Obviously, our family's getting bigger, but definitely the guys right now are guys that are bought in.
That's so great to hear. That's awesome. Kind of going off of that, what is your favorite thing about Grinnell football?
Yep, I definitely just the guys. Being out in Grinnell, like it's a small town, we're not in a city, so sometimes there isn't, the same things you could do being in Chicago and such. But, that makes for like hanging out with the guys being a lot more precious and getting to, build that relationship even more.
Mhm. And speaking to your college a little bit more broadly, I'm just kind of curious, what are your favorite parts about being a student athlete at Grinnell?
Yeah, so I love it because I'm pushed very hard. Like, not only are we trying to, turn a team around, but you're at an elite academic institution, so you're also being pushed in the classroom, which I enjoy. It keeps me busy, keeps me, ready on my toes, and that's kind of how I roll through life.
Yeah. Who do you believe is one of the best leaders on your team and why?
Um, Best leaders on team. There's a lot that come to mind. Um, if I had to pick one, it would probably be Tim Johnson, linebacker. He's a guy that is always asking me, when are you going to go running? Like, when are you going to lift? Is always there before I am. A guy that works really hard and, expecting to have a big season from him. So watch out.
What have you been able to learn from him throughout your career?
Just, obviously coming from high school to college, it's a different game. And he's a year older than me. So just kind of looking up to him in that respect and understanding how hard I really need to work, to catch up and, be a legit, collegiate athlete.
Mhm. If you had to pick just one, what would be your favorite away stadium to play in?
Um, Away stadium to play in. I mean, honestly, I don't like any other team stadium,
Mhm.
but probably U Chicago. They have a nice skyline. I'm from the outside of Chicago, so like I get it. Kind of being back home a little bit is nice.
Yeah, but obviously partial to your own, of course. I would be too.
Of course.
Hugh, so you talked about it a little bit earlier. So last season, you went 2-6, but you won two of your first three games. So you started out really fast. And what do you think it will take for your team to start fast again this year, but then continue that momentum throughout the season?
Yeah. So we're looking at those first four games as four games we could definitely win. Um, Obviously, like we struggled keeping that through the season, so I think it came down a lot to having younger guys on the team. Like even my first year we were young, and then my second year we're still young. Coming into our third year, like we're no longer like youngins. You know, we're all have some experience and ready to kind of make a difference, which I think will pan out having that experience and such down the road later in the season.
Absolutely. And the older guys that have that experience, you get to take the younger guys under your wing a little bit and help them through it all too.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
What would you say is Grinnell football's team identity?
Team identity. We're scrappy for sure. You know, sometimes we might be outmatched athlete to athlete wise, but you know when it comes down to it, like we're the guys that'll probably get on our hands and knees and get dirty, to pull out a win late in the game.
Earlier, I asked you about what your personal expectations were for the season, but I'm also kind of curious, what are your expectations for your team as a whole?
Yeah, I mean, I'm super excited for the guys to get back, as a team, so that we could really, put together something special. Like, I know it's pretty broad, but having that, like, all right, there's been 2 years of kind of the grind, putting in the time, not winning a lot of games. Now it's like, as a cohesive team, like, let's really put something together here this next season.
My last question that I have for you today, Hugh, at the end of the season, what do you think will define Grinnell's success?
I think it's at the end of the season, if we had to define success from our own standpoint, it would be, just honestly putting Grinnell back on the map. Like, no longer are we going to be the team that everyone circles for homecoming, and such. It is going to be a team that, they're going to have the game plan. They're not looking towards next week's game, against, East Chicago, Monmouth, and such. So, wins and losses are nice, but at the end of the day, making Grinnell a respectable program again.
Yeah. Well, I know you guys can do it, and I'll be rooting for you. That's all I had for you today. I really, really appreciate you taking the time, Hugh.
Yeah, no, thank you for having me.
I wish you the very, very best of luck this season.
Thank you.